I am pleased to introduce FSRA's board chair, Joanne De Laurentiis. Joanne joined FSRA this past June and brings a wealth of knowledge from her extensive private industry and public sector experience. Joanne, please, over to you.
Well, thank you, Glenn. Everybody can hear me, I hope. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to attend FSRA's first exchange event. And thank you to our speakers for all the great information and ideas that they've put on the table. It really is too bad that we aren't able to meet in person to benefit from all the rich side conversations we would have been having, stimulated from all we've heard this morning. But hopefully our next event will give us that opportunity. But in the meantime, as Glenn has said, we're happy to answer your questions. And so send them in and we will get back to you. So it's been virtual. And even though it's been virtual, I really hope that you've been, and it has provided you with an opportunity to hear firsthand just what sets us apart as a new kind of regulator, where we've been, where we're going. And I can assure you the path that we are taking is in many ways revolutionary. As board chair, I can tell you that the difference between our predecessors and this young, fast-moving organization is striking. For starters, FSRA was created with a new regulatory framework that resulted in significant changes in governance and structure, and that includes the establishment of a board of directors, something that didn't exist under our old structure. The board provides an extra set of eyes to set the strategy for the organization and meet with the sectors regulated by FSRA. You heard this morning the importance as we move into a principles-based regulatory approach, the importance of the conversation that we need to have with our regulated sector. And we certainly intend to follow that through. Our board is a skills-based board. We have an impressive group of people that bring a tremendous amount of sector experience to the table, whether that be the insurance industry, credit unions, pensions, fintech, law, or the Ontario Public Service. So that conversation we will have should be, I think, a very rich one. As a board, we take an active role in monitoring the overall activities of FSRA to ensure its mandate has been met. We are responsible for establishing the goals, objectives, and strategic direction of the organization. We are laser focused on broader future-oriented issues. We are also engaged with our regulated industries, or entities rather, that conversation that we've talked so much about this morning. We have begun that through meetings with the stakeholder advisory committees and the consumer advisory panel. And this coming year, the board will be consulting with these stakeholder committees even further to understand what's around the corner and the need for us as a regulator to stay ahead of the innovation curve. That's why there's been so much attention paid to principles-based regulation today. In many ways, principles-based regulation is a game changer. As you've heard, it will facilitate innovation, help us modernize our processes and our systems. Clearly, the financial services sector is quickly advancing, and so must the regulator. We strongly believe that prescriptive guidance or rules can be limiting, overly burdensome, and not focused on achieving outcomes. And prescriptive regulation is not future-proof and needs to be updated frequently. Under a principles-based regulation approach, FSRA regulated entities and individuals will have more flexibility in determining how to achieve compliance. In fact, individual entities will be able to develop their own approaches to compliance that are best suited to the unique size, nature, and complexity of their businesses. With this approach, greater reliance will be placed on a regulated entity's senior management and its board of directors to achieve desired outcomes and to demonstrate how they are achieved, how they have achieved those desired outcomes. Think about this. In the current system, the conversation is almost exclusively between the regulator and the compliance unit. The regulator rarely has discussions with the management team, with the product team, with the marketing team, with the people who are actually dealing with the product, evolving the product, and delivering it to the end user. The current system does not lend itself to a healthy two-way dialogue with the regulator, and it certainly doesn't promote innovation. As the board chair of FSRA, I want to challenge the leadership in all the sectors we regulate to collaborate with us. We want to hear from you and your consumers and hear your ideas about where the sector is today, where it's going, where it needs to go. In that way, we can meet the needs of those who buy your product or use your services. I will warn everyone, and you've heard this message plenty this morning. This approach will not be easy. It will require some heavy lifting on your part and on our part, but in the end, it will be worth it. By working collaboratively, we can help set the financial services sector on a new and exciting course that will not only benefit your firms, but will have lasting positive results for Ontario consumers. And lasting positive results for consumers is really the idea behind FSRA's new innovation office. Again, we've heard a lot about this initiative over the course of this morning, but the concept is truly exhilarating. This office will be supporting an open for business approach by identifying and enabling opportunities to foster innovation and business transformation across the financial services sector. It will help emerging and existing innovators develop their ideas in a sustainable, responsible, and accessible way. It will ensure that consumers have access to the latest advancements in financial services while protecting the public interest. Our overarching objective is to support our innovative thinkers, our entrepreneurs, and up-and-coming fintechs so that they can not only succeed, but succeed right here in Ontario. Keeping these jobs and investments in the province will benefit all of us. Now, I'm sure this is music to the ears of our finance minister. The Honourable Peter Bethlen-Falvey has been at the forefront of the government's modernization effort from day one. He has been the point person leading digitization across Ontario's public service in order to make service delivery more effective and more efficient for consumers across the province. He's also been a champion of FSRA and our transition to a principles-based and outcome-focused regulator, and we thank you for that, Minister. The Minister is now turning his attention to the government's next budget and the critically important economic recovery. Clearly, Minister Bethlen-Falvey, you are one of the busiest people in government, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. And to the rest of you, to all of our the people who have plugged in, I know there's many of you, thank you again for joining us today. And now I will turn it over to the Minister to share his thoughts with us. Minister?